What's up, everybody? Good to see you. Zena, what up? What's up? Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna be working on music, but I like to make music to the Fantasy Star Online visuals. So pretty much, this is just a hangout session. There'll be like limited commentary, but I will be working on music for the duration of the stream, and also I'll be using chat as well. I'll be responsive in chat, and also I have an open Fantasy Star Online room, just like I had last time. So if you want to hang out in the open Fantasy Star Online room, I'm just using it as an idle session / chat room, although you are welcome to play in the normal mode session. Yeah, you can join the actual game that I have going. It's called Dusk Idle World. Ugh, not the mic cutting out a little. Well, I guess I won't be needing it too much. For this stream, I won't really be needing it, so it might not matter too much. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's still cutting out, but I'll be going mute soon. Aside from like a few things, I might say here and there. I got my vape. Yep, it's Fantasy Star Online. Yeah, this is a nice beat. Let me just clear out all the bugs. And I can just loop this song, actually. Yo, what up? What up, Verpine? I'm clearing bugs out. Coding bugs. Yeah, this mix is gonna just be all relaxation. Yeah. Yo, what up, Knights? I think I cleared out all the bugs. Now I can just relax on the beach. Up a couple bugs. The sword is dope. Want to see something cool? I made an Otia Guido. It's a really good sword, actually. I finally made it. Unfortunately, you can't grind it, and it can't have stats, but it's a pretty strong katana, regardless. It's because I had a real Agido, and then I made it into the advanced version. And it has pretty cool ability, watch this. It shoots a heckin' beam. Sacrifice health. Wait. This can be the other one. Watch this. You see that? It's pretty sick. But I gotta watch my health. It's kinda... It can actually go through enemies. So it can go in a directional line. Yo, what up, Sir Everweight? Oh, crap. Unfortunately, I gotta get my ATA up. That's okay. It's alright if the mic cuts out. It's gonna be a pretty micless stream. Try and fix it while I'm working. Unfortunately, this mic, like... I'm just chilling in the game. You can join, but it's more of like a chat room thing. This mic is a USB mic, so sometimes it gets weird. Yeah, because I resetted the USB. Alright, now to focus on the song. Let me take the HUD away. Oh yeah, I need to get my vape. Okay. So, I think I fixed the mic issue. Cause like it just stays on for days. So anyways, hopefully I fixed the mic issue. I ain't got time to deal with that. I'm not tech support anymore, lol. But before I go and deep dive here, I just want to say hi to everybody. Earl Grey, Potion, what's up? Ivy, what's up? Knights, what's up? Sugar, what's up? Jet, what's up? Audio, what's up? I like the monotone. Kasala, what's up? Russian friend, what's up? I don't know how to say that. I think it's Anton, but I don't know. Russian or I guess maybe Ukrainian too. I don't know. But anyways, not normal English text, so I don't know. I'm forgive me, I'm ignorant. But video, what's up? So what this is Solaris, what's up? Hope everybody's doing good. Everybody's having a good day. Yeah, definitely forgive my ignorance. I'm but a simpleton. Uh this is Idle World broadcast, which I pinned a comment there. It's a little different than one of my normal live streams. The point of it is to kind of just open the chat up so that the community, like, it just acts as almost like a chat room, and I'll chat too in the chat room. It's like an open chat room on the channel where everybody can just chill out and vibe out together and connect with each other with cool vibes. And I'll be producing still. That's why there's Ableton in the corner. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'll be working on music and like just chilling and in this chat room. Because when I work on music, I usually have a game opened anyways, like WoW or something, because I got 2 monitors. So I got WoW on my top monitor, and then I got Ableton on my bottom monitor, and I got you guys on the top monitor. What's up, JMO? I saw you in the comments earlier. Good to see you there. But yeah. So like, if you guys draw or you work on stuff, like, it's just everybody just drawing and being creative or just relaxing or working. And we all just chill. Anyways, you get the point. So I'm going to start working on this track. I'm going to mute my mic for a little while. If I'm not watching chat and someone's like, is he ignoring me? Just be like, well, he's not using the mic right now. Although I did pin a comment, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But anyways, let's do this. Let's just relax, vibe out as we do as a community. Pleasant travels, everybody. So, teaching moment. So check this out. What I did was it's like this trick that I have. Yo, what up, JVX? Kings, what up? Sky, what up? So what I like to do to strings, I did it a lot on Angel Mem, and now I can do it again because I have the SSL Fusion again. I'll take like a contact library like this. I'll play it without, so you can kind of get a comparison. Which sounds pretty good, but like, I always think that they can sound a little better. So what I'll do is, you know, a lot of the strings and stuff, the solo sessions, like when they record strings for like a AAA game, you know, especially like Square Enix or like, you know, a company of that caliber, they'll bring in solo instrumentalists into like their studio because these companies have recording studios in their building, whatever. They'll bring them in and they'll mic them up and they'll record it like onto their console. They'll just record it like straight onto a mixing console. It's usually an SSL, not always, probably a Neve sometimes, but I would say it's like 50-50. It's either an SSL or it's a Neve. But it has like a vibe to it. Yo, what up, Biz? Yeah, it has like a vibe to it. And the best way I could describe it is like a little bit warmer, a little bit wider, and a little more saturation. So I have an SSL Fusion, which is kind of like a channel strip in a way. It's more of a mastering processor, but you can use it surgically like a channel strip. And what I'll do is I'll take those strings and then I'll put the SSL Fusion directly on the strings like a group like I just did. And I'll turn on the Fusion's vintage drive, which kind of gives it some warmth. And then I'll use the Violet EQ. It has an EQ on it, which this EQ is on SSL boards, like, but like on the board, it's just like each channel has its EQ, whatever. But this Violet EQ is basically that same circuit. So you can like add, it's not so great to do on your master, but on strings and stuff, it works well. You can add like an incredible amount of brightness without it sounding harsh. You know how like when you like push push an EQ too hard, like a plugin or any digital EQ, it can start to sound harsh really fast. But this, probably because it's still rolling off the ultra highs, I don't know. But anyways, it's really hard to make it sound harsh, and you get like that pristine high end on the strings without it hurting people's ears. It just sounds bright. And then the Fusion also has a stereo image tweaker. So like think an analog version of like Ozone's imager. And I'll just use it, like overuse it on the strings, and I'll make them super wide on purpose. I'll just make them super wide. And I'll show you what that sounds like. Probably did use a Sony Studio. So anyways, like, here's the strings without. One Dusk album at a time. So they sound pretty good. Because that library is just really good. It's a really good library. Here's what those same strings sound like run through the SSL Fusion. Let me A-B it. If I can here. Yeah. See how much different it sounds? It's so subtle. Like, on its own, it's pretty subtle. But in the mix, it's not. So that's the regular one in the mix. Here's the new one. And then you bring it down in volume so that it sits. Hear the difference? I'm turning it down in the mix so that it sits, but... This is what the original one sounds like in the mix, which doesn't sound bad. It just doesn't... I feel like when I run it through the Fusion, it sounds more like you would hear... like what you would hear in like a Square Enix title, essentially. Like a newer Final Fantasy. Yo, what up, Muzak? Good to have you. So there's that one, which sounds good. It sits center in the mix, but it sounds a little dull. And then you got... I would go as far to say it sounds more like two session musicians playing, personally. Not because I changed anything content-wise. It just, to me, sounds like two session musicians playing, because typically when we hear two session musicians playing, they're being recorded on an SSL console, etc. But these strings are not supposed to be the center. I'm gonna bring these down. Yeah, it's a real game. It's Phantasy Star Online. Yeah, that's what I think, Two Nights. It sounds more like it's in a room. Now, I could try and recreate that. Let me try and recreate it now. So now I'm in the box. I turned off my SSL, and I'll try and recreate it. We'll run like if I was gonna try and recreate this in the box, I'd probably reach for Ozone, right? I'd be like, well, I need width. There's other plugins too, obviously, but I'd feel like most people would reach for Ozone, and they'd be like, okay, width. Let's get the imager. So. This is what it would be like in the box, kind of thing. And probably run. And then I guess the closest thing to maybe. We probably need an EQ. We could probably reach for like a vintage EQ. We don't want a high cut. I've never used this thing, by the way. Actually, I'll just reach for Fab Filter. And I'll just do like, cause I guess the same thing will kind of be like a high boost. You hear how it's already hurting my ears. With an extreme boost like that. And I know I'm not really a sound engineer, so someone could probably say, well, that's a different kind of EQ entirely. You could reach for this plugin and it would sound near identical, but I bet you it still wouldn't sound identical. But anyways, so let's listen to this for a second. So this would be like me trying to recreate it. Yo, what up, KWA? Thanks for coming and hanging out with us, and I'm glad it's your favorite soundtrack. That's awesome. So this hurts my ears. And then if I go back to this one, no plugin on it. This is the SSL Fusion. We'll turn this down in the mix a little because I did do that. So I would say the way that Isotope Ozone is splitting the algorithm that it uses to widen the image sounds worse than the Fusion's analog with processing. I think it's a shitty algorithm compared to it. I'm not saying it's bad, because I use Imager all the time, but I actually use it more to mono stuff out, so this. I don't really use it to widen because I'm not a huge fan of it. I feel like it causes more problems than good. So this is that version, and then this is again, the Fusion. Wait. It just doesn't have the same presence. So, yeah. It's not really bad, but... And you know what? I think for me, like, here's my experience, which, again, is just my experience, but... You know, there's the argument, like, analog versus digital. Obviously, we need both, because digital is really great at surgical stuff, like fab filter, or a limiter. Like, having a limiter, a digital limiter is typically better, because it's going to be faster. But, like, when you try and mimic analog in the box, it's possible, I would say. But in my experience, every time I try and mimic an album that was mastered with analog, which is most professional music is mastered through analog, and there's a reason for that to this day, why that is the thing, because it typically sounds more refined if you use the analog tools right. Obviously, you could use analog and be worse than something that was done in the box if you don't know what the fuck you're doing with your analog tools. You can't just go buy an SSL Fusion and be like, yep, now I'm top tier. It's not how it works. You got to sit with it and like really understand its character, just like any piece of analog gear. But back to what I was saying, when I used to try in my 20s to like recreate these albums that I loved in the box, like something like, oh, I'm writing music for a game, I want it to sound like Final Fantasy 13 or something. I found that every time I used a VST to make something sound better, I would ruin something else in the process. And that is my story with using like VSTs to try and mimic an analog master. Is with analog, I feel like you can get the sound if you know what you're doing and you're good. Like you just dial in the parameters real quick and you're good. It does not damage the overall signal unless you obviously butcher something. But every time I would reach for plugins like, oh, it just needs tape saturation. I'm going to add tape saturation. Oh, maybe an exciter. If I add an exciter, I'll get those highs. Every time I would do that, I would end up fucking other shit up in the mix. And that's why one day I was like, you know what? First of all, I'm bored of just using my computer to make music. If I want to get back into music, I want to try using analog now that I have a job. Because that was that was me at the time. Like, now that I have a job, I might as well get some analog gear if I'm getting back into music. Because I took a 5-year break. But I found, at first, when I got the analog gear, I had no fucking clue what I was doing with it. So I was just nights of messing around and, like, trying to figure out what sounded good. And that was probably, like, 4 or 5 months. Like, I would just get one piece of analog gear, learn it, get better with it, and then be like, oh, this is kind of its use case. But, yeah. That's what I found. Also, a fun fact, and I know I said this was going to be a chill stream where I didn't talk the whole time, but whatever. So basically, I feel like people who defend like just in the box, I feel like a good portion of them kind of go on the defensive because it's like, well, these analog heads, they're just gatekeeping. This gear is like super expensive. Most people don't have access to it and they're gatekeeping because, you know, you feel left out. And I used to be like that actually in my 20s. But to be honest, getting analog gear does not mean you have to spend $2,000. You could literally get an analog sound with one piece of analog gear and an audio interface that has 2 inputs and 2 outputs. And you could master that piece of analog gear and use it, just like print it in different ways on different instruments and stuff, and get your own unique sound. And then, you know, maybe a year or two down the line, you buy another piece, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to put this one here. Like, it doesn't mean you have to spend $1 million or like fucking $5,000 on like the best audio interface because of ADDA whatever conversion, and then you need like the best compressor. Yeah, I use warm audio stuff. I have a warm audio VCA compressor that I use, and I mimic the SSL glue trick because VCA compressor, they're both VCA compressors. The SSL G comp that Deadmau5 talks about, I remember he used to meme about it. Like, I put the SSL G comp, a $5,000 compressor or whatever, on my bass line. Lol. But the warm audio is also a VCA compressor. I pretty much exclusively used that on my master on Heaven EXE because I didn't have the Fusion at the time. And I use both on my master now. But anyways, it doesn't sound exactly like the SSL G comp, but you can get the exact same glue sound, like that professional glue sound. And it also has a transformer on it for $600. And the transformer is really good, especially for jungle and DMB. It adds this subtle saturation, and it also adds width without you having to mess with the width with the VST. So $600 is like, what, 3 decent VSTs from like one of the major brands, VST companies. So you could literally have your 2-in, 2-out audio interface and a VCA comp on your master, and you're going to get a sound. Once you learn the VCA comp, once you learn the warm audio VCA comp, you're going to get a sound that sounds slightly different than every other fucking jungle and DMB mix out there, especially the AI mixes. Because you like went out on a limb and experimented with some actual gear, you know? And it would cost you, if you already have a gaming PC, you can already make music, right? Because a gaming PC has enough processing power to make music. You could go buy a Focusrite for, I don't know, like $300, $600 for the VCA compressor. That's $900. You probably already have an interface with 2 ins, 2 outs, and then boom, you've got analog sound, and you can experiment with it. And you didn't have to spend $5,000. That's how I started. I didn't spend $5,000. I bought like one thing and just kind of like experimented. So yeah, just saying. Like it doesn't have to be one or the other. I really encourage people to experiment. Obviously, do your research before you go out and buy any piece of gear, but at least with the gear, you can resell it. You can't resell a VST, and they're getting more expensive all the time, right? Yeah, literally nights. Like, spend $100 on a Waves VST that they're gonna make you pay to upgrade in a year, or buy, like, I don't know, or some of these are like $300, some of these mastering suites and stuff. You buy a warm VCA compressor for $600, at least you can sell it for $500 in 4 years if it's in good condition. You can't go back and sell a VST. You could just upgrade, and usually they make you pay for the upgrade, right? They come out with like the 2 to the 3, etc. Yeah, there's cloud-based analog mastering. That's already a thing. In fact, I almost partnered with a cloud-based analog mastering company for Dusk. But then I decided, I don't know, it kind of fell through because we just stopped emailing each other. I actually reached out to them because I was trying to find a solution for you guys, like people who were working in the box. So I was like, maybe I can like try this and maybe it's good, and then maybe I can like, maybe some of my viewers would be interested in it, or the community members. But that's a thing, and it's actually, I think, pretty good. It gets kind of sketchy because you have to like pay for time on a piece of gear and stuff. Like that piece of gear is available. Yeah, way ahead. Those have been out for like 10 years now. And they're good too, from what I have heard. And you can just use like any piece of gear, but it's a little bit different than like a cloud-based software thing, because like, even though it's cloud-based, that gear is being controlled by like robots or whatever on the other end. So like they literally have robotic arms and stuff, so you can like control it from your they have like a VST on your side, but it's really actual gear on the other side. You got to pay for like time on the piece of gear, and usually like there's different tiers to the subscription. Is it the problem of knowing what big names use, but no knowing why? I don't know. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? I'm a little confused. I don't fully understand, my friend. Music is super ethereal, like flowing wind on a cool, fruitiger air planet. Super awesome and otherworldly, futuristic vibes. Pure awesomeness. Thanks, KWA. What's your thoughts on people that just use Clipper for mastering? Well, it depends. Because, like, if it stylistically fits the music genre they're working in, then by all means, that's the toolbox to get the tone that they're looking for, right? Like dubstep or any kind of like really heavy. You know that there's analog clipping too, right? There's clippers. There's analog clippers. In fact, I feel like clipping when it comes to analog gear, you can clip analog gear against itself to make some really cool sounds without getting yucky digital distortion. So a clipper is a thing, like usually a digital VST, but like clipping is a thing mastering engineers do too, and they don't talk about it. They'll clip a piece of gear against their I don't want to say audio interface because it's usually not an audio interface. Their ADDA thing. I forgot what it's called. Shit, I'm dumb. Analog clippers are just scissors. Lol. Do you want me to hear me clip? Do you want me to analog clip right now? I could do it. I'm actually kind of doing it. But I could analog clip right now if you want to hear what it sounds like. I mean, it's not going to sound so great on this because there's no drums or anything, but like I'm clipping the warm VCA compressor against the SSL Fusion's inputs right now. I'm using the makeup gain on the VCA comp I have, and I'm clipping it against the Fusion. I actually use that trick a lot. Like, on, like, Heaven EXE and, like, those kind of albums. Instead of just, like, dumping all of it into the output gain on my limiter, I use, like, a Weiss, soft tube Weiss maximizer. What I do is I kind of, there's, like, this balancing act to squeeze as much volume as I can out of it without squashing it. And what I do is, like, I use the makeup gain typically on the Worm VCA to get some of the extra volume, and then I'll use the output gain on the limiter as well. I kind of like divide it between the two because I tend to be able to get it louder but still a little bit more dynamic if I lean into the analog clipping domain. But still, obviously, I got to do it a little bit on my limiter instead of just doing it on the limiter because it tends to sound a little worse. This is Fantasy Star Online. I actually want to do this. So, like, what's up, BW? Thanks. Heaven EXE, is it a place? I would imagine it would look kind of like the beach. Thanks, audio. Alright, I need to listen to this whole thing now. I think I wanted to add some analog synth to this part. I just want to walk around in Fantasy Star and listen to it. Let's slaughter plants. Weed whacking, if you will. Yeah, rings in the sky would be cool. It's interesting that... Hold on. Oh. This actually starts like over here. Do you need to know all this terminology and what for listening in? It sounds pretty intimidating. No, you don't have to know any of it, actually. Literally everything I'm saying is just, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of it is just, I've been doing it for so long that like I've just, you know, I gotta find something to keep me engaged in something I've been doing for like, I didn't even know there was a bug over there. I've just been doing it for like 21 years, so the progression of exploring. When I started, I didn't even know what a compressor was, and I didn't care because I was having fun. I had Reason 2.5, and I was just so excited that I could control infinite sounds on my computer with a piano I had because it was a MIDI piano. And that was just insane to me, and I could layer sounds. That's all I needed. After that, I was just hooked. So no, you don't even need to know any of it. You just have fun, basically. It took me so long to kind of get into a vibe for like the style of mixing I needed to do, that I wanted to do. It took me a very long time, but that's also because like when I started, you know, there weren't really tutorials and there weren't really as many plugins or anything either. A lot of PSO videos, and what I hear is exactly the kind of things I listen to while programming. Yo, what up, man? Well, Arius, glad to have you. Welcome to the community. And thanks for hanging out with us. Glad. Yeah, PSO. Hold on, I want to show you this track that I made. This track's about done, actually. I just gotta like maybe mix it a bit, but I don't really want to add too much. You know, sometimes adding too much makes a track worse, especially in a mix like this. But anyways, let's just go back to the beach. And check this track out. It's probably a little more PSO. The folder that I have for this new mix is just called OST. But yeah, like that one's kind of like I'm gonna have some other songs like that, but I also want some songs like this. But I do want to add some synth to this part somewhere. I think I'm gonna reach for the Korg Mini Logue for it. Because right now I just have this Serum one. But let's do this. Let's keep the same parameters that the Serum has. But let's take that off. We'll just duplicate it. And then we'll throw like the Mini Logue, which is an analog synth. I'm gonna have to go over to it though. And we'll figure this out. Let me just, it's got a tune. I'm booting it up now. That's what that clip was. Fun fact, on the Mini Logue, you can play Pong and Breakout when it's tuning on the little screen. It's pretty dope. We probably don't really need reverb on this. Sup, Kong? Thanks for hanging out with us. And it's an honor to be your number one. Thanks for listening. Might want to lower these octaves a bit. Thanks, Kong. Appreciate you. So I kind of like both those. So what I'm gonna do, I definitely gotta mess with the audio files a bit to like, just like mess with the reverb tails, just like kind of dial them in so they don't muck up the rest of the mix. But I'm liking it. Let me just record in this mini log real quick. Okay. So yeah, chord mini log. Right, gotta print that. Sub Ash. I'll probably play Pokemon Fire Red before I go to bed later. Actually. Yeah, Dungeon Synth is cool. Someone just... I'm talking to Beanie right now. She's still prowling. There's a... You know Dungeon Synth? There's a... Nortron's saying there's a Frog and Toad themed chill Dungeon Synth. Nortron's like your shirt. Frog and Toad.
That's crazy.
Like the cookies shirt.
Yeah.
Beanie is still patrolling. Night patrol. Tomorrow we're going to a show, so we're staying up late. It's a late show. Well, I always stay up late. I guess it's just not much of a difference, but... Alright. Yeah. Audio says hi. She says hello, everybody. You can say hi to them.
I repeat, hello everybody. And Knights. Oh, Knights is there, and Audio.
Everybody's in the house.
I think I saw JVX too.
Yo, everybody be up this late.
Except for me.
Drake says hi. What's up, Boof? Solaris says hi. Everybody say hi.
Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely our neurotype. Like, I would say it has... People say, like, well, it's because you drink caffeine or because, like, too much blue light. But It's just how we are.
Or not.
It's how we were raised. We were raised on Adult Swim and Surge. So it's hard to like that's just like in our DNA. Like we used to play PSO in 2005. I'm projecting. I used to play PSO in 2005 and drink Surge and watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force at like 3 a.m. and jam out to the amazing Adult Swim bumps. So that's just now I'm stuck. Like
It's a
this.
lifestyle.
Yeah, except for when I have a job that requires me to be up. I do tend to get up. Caffeine in 15 years. I don't know, man. I couldn't do that. Yeah, we out here. Team Dusk is out here. 1.5, because she's like half. Well, no, she's not that sleepy. I like pairing the analog with the digital. So, like, I paired this Serum, which is obviously a digital synth. It's a VST with this mini Logue riff. I think it allows it to breathe more. Like, it gives it some unpredictability. And some, like, it gives it some personality. I think. But one thing I want to do is I definitely want to mix down this Serum synth so I can control the reverb tails before I get too tired here. I never read Tales Under the Oak, but I kind of want to. Is there an audiobook of it? Because I kind of want to, like... I would definitely... As long as it's not an AI audiobook. You know what sucks about those AI commentary? You ever watch those, like... Those videos that are, like... Like, one that I watched was, like... Pirates. What pirates did to keep warm in the dead of winter. And it's like a sleep, like boring sleep stories. The solar side.
I remember we were listening to one about like a soldier in the war.
Yeah. You mean with Vasily?
I don't remember.
His friend?
No, it was a scene where he
they
was
just
like,
kept walking because
he woke up like he fell asleep in the snow and he was just talking about how cold it was.
Is the Western?
Yeah,
the
but then like 15 minutes
Eastern
later,
front.
he's still talking about waking up and how cold it was. I'm like, is this AI? Because it keeps repeating itself.
Historians still debate. They love to put that in there. I don't know why. It's always historians still debate. But you in your foxhole, you don't debate because you're here and now. That's what they always do. That's always what the commentary does in those stories. Yeah, I've watched some stuff like that. Yeah, some of it's pretty okay, but like I feel like they've gotten lazy with it. Like it was okay at first, but then it starts, unless it's just repetitive, so you're like, wait a minute. But yeah, the Russian soldiers in World War II, yeah, that was wild. I like that one.
It was good.
That's a cool one, but definitely AI, unfortunately. I think AI even tells the story. Like, I think AI makes up the story. It does it all, I think, unfortunately. Yeah, so like those stories though, they've gotten weird lately. Like the AI stories, like the narrator, they're not listening to the whole story they generate. And sometimes you'll be trying to sleep and the narrator will glitch out. And it's really disturbing. Like it'll be like talking and then it'll be like, what? For like a second. That's what it sounds like. It's like historians still debate. And I'm like, whoa. That is like the most disturbing thing when trying to sleep. Yeah, it hallucinates. It like tweaks out. It's terrible. What I'm doing right now is kind of just like reining in these reverb tails. I did kind of like the one about the pirates, though. It's like how pirates keep warm. But basically, the thing about the AI stuff that sucks is, I mean, I kind of have adapted in a way. Because I do like on YouTube, just for all the producers out there, and this is a shame. So for the last 2 years, we kind of, at the beginning of the last 3 years, I would say, the beginning of these last 3 years, we lived in like this golden era of long form mixes. Like, you know, like a really nice breakcore mix, or like a really nice like D&B album that was like positioned as a mix, like how I did. I kind of came in a year or two into it, so like probably 2 years ago, and like the algorithm loved it, and that was a good thing because it was like getting these albums out to people, because people were staying on these albums for a long time, and the algorithm liked that, so it would like push your whole album to people. Like, you know, like Pizza Hotline had his, and then Archaeologies has a bunch, and he's amazing, and then I had Heaven EXE. And it like gave us all a chance to really get pushed out there to a wide audience, i.e. that's how the Dusk community formed. And it was dope. But like a year after that, a bunch of people started making like AI mixes. Like the same type of stuff, but like it was AI versions, and they'd do like cool artwork sometimes, and they'd make it aesthetic. But then they started pumping out these mixes like every day. And it started oversaturating everything. Like now, and unfortunately, at first, these AI mixes were getting views just like all of the real stuff. So they just kept making more and more and getting greedier and greedier and greedier. Yeah, and you can even, I'm not going to say names, but like I do market research in my spare time when I'm drinking Diet Coke and eating like Slim Jims. I'll look at these channels and stuff and see what's going on. Everybody's mixes, because everything got saturated. So basically what it did was it burnt everybody out, I think. This is my interpretation of what happened. No, you can say their name. I don't, that's fine. I've said it before, but like, I just try not to do it too much because I don't want to seem like a bully. But like, I don't want to be a bully. But it started saturating everything, and people were like trusting these mixes at first, right? You'd get put onto like Heaven EXE, like you'd just ride the recommends, as I say. You'd hear Heaven EXE, and then it would put you on Archaeologies, and then it would put you on Pizza Hotline, and then it'd put you on someone who just did a mix of like really good breakcore artists. And you could just ride these mixes throughout your workday, your coding day, and it was amazing. It was the golden era. But then when these AI channels started getting in there and just saturating everything, you couldn't ride the recommends anymore because you would just get put into AI hell. And at first you wouldn't realize it, right? Because this happened to me when I was working tech support, because I was listening to them too. Because that's what I wanted to do, is just listen to music on YouTube while I worked and just get recommended cool shit. But I was like, why does this shit all sound the same? And I realized I was stuck in AI hell for like 5 hours. And I think what happened is everybody simultaneously realized they were stuck in AI hell when trying to work. And then it's like, we can't even trust this anymore. Now we can't ride the recommends. So we all got like fatigue from all the bullshit that was out there. So now we don't even do that. So now like stuff doesn't get pushed. Like everybody's channel, like long form mixes, everybody is getting less views on their long form mixes across the board because everybody got fatigued. All the listeners got fatigued from all of the bullshit. And they got a lot more selective. And then the algorithm also adapted a little bit. And it doesn't just like, oh, you have a long form mix, so we're going to keep recommending it to people. Now it's more of like, how long do they listen to this over and over again? It's a little more selective, and it doesn't push it to as many people as it did once, too. So it sucks. YouTube claimed they were going to do something about it, but I have yet to see it. I think they tweaked their algorithm a little bit, but it just hurt everybody. Like all of the creators that did long form mixes, even like the real people like me and Pizza Hotline and Arcologies. I use those too because I really enjoy their music. Yeah, it doesn't get pushed as much now, and then because it was probably saturating everything, so they just stopped pushing long form mixes in the same way that they did. And then yeah, everybody got fatigued by those mixes as well. So like now if you put out a mix, like it might not even get record. Like I have people who are subscribed that like didn't even see Lost Sanctuary for like subscribers, like you guys that didn't even see it for like a couple weeks. Yeah, the Jungle Wizard. Yeah, he's another one, man. But like, so anyways, essentially AI ruined it for everybody, which, you know, it's not that big a deal for like established communities because, well, we can adapt because we have an audience. So it's, you can adapt. I mean, I've seen a lot of I didn't really, like, I complain about it, but I did more to adapt. Like I do more shorts now, which I kind of roll my eyes, but I try to make the shorts nice. And then I already put out a single every month. Like our latest single got pushed pretty hard. Like I was surprised. Like YouTube Music is pushing stuff like singles harder than long form mixes. I think that's changing right now. We got a lot on that single, which is good for me because like long form mixes take a long time to make. That doesn't mean I'm not going to make them anymore because they serve a purpose in the community just from a lore and artistic standpoint. But like it's neat to see singles doing well, so I don't have to like ride on each long form mix. So I kind of adapted, but it's a shame to see that ecosystem kind of die out because like for new artists that actually make music, like they don't just prompt shit. Like that was a way YouTube had a really nice way. It was like one of the only fair algorithms. It was a way to get seen if you were making good music, if you put it out long form. And now that's been kind of dissolved because of these greedy AI idiots. Like, so basically they ruined it for everybody. The golden age is over. Yo, what up, Hasma? That doesn't mean it's all doom and gloom. You just got to come up with new ways to do it. But like, yeah, the YouTube Shorts. I've been doing more YouTube Shorts, and I kind of do it in a way where like, I've been putting tags on some of my music that says like no AI used, but I don't really need to do that because I use the YouTube Shorts, like basically the way I use YouTube Shorts. I'm just kind of like giving, I guess, advice to people who are also making music. But I'll do like some vibe YouTube shorts like PSO, FF8, stuff like that. And then I'll do a short that's just talking about like, hey guys, me in the studio, and I show my actual gear. I show what I'm actually doing. So the shorts speak for themselves. Like you come to the Dusk channel and you just look at the shorts and you're like, oh, this is probably definitely not AI because I see Beanie making art on her tablet. And then I see Dusk rambling about analog gear in every short. So yeah, then that builds trust. There needs to be a law or some watermark to show things are AI. They're trying to do it, but yeah, it's the end of an era. I feel really blessed to have gotten in to the YouTube scene when I did, because I don't think Heaven EXE would have even gotten the, like, if I released Heaven EXE today, I don't think it would have gotten the same exposure in the current climate. So just imagine this. Like, think of all the artists out there who are putting out their Heaven EXEs right now, and y'all are getting robbed because you don't get to find it because it's just not getting pushed or it's getting buried. And they're getting robbed because these AI mixes ruined it for everybody. Kind of sad if you think about it that way. Just think about all the albums that, like, I know y'all love Heaven EXE, but it's like, think of all the albums you're not finding that you would be attached to in the same way, or if not more, that you're not finding now because that whole sphere is ruined. So it just kind of sucks. That's the way I'm seeing. That's why I think it sucks. So I've been thinking of, like, I don't think I'm probably don't have the means to do it, but I might utilize my, like, the exposure our community has and the trust within our community. I might utilize that to put on up and coming artists. I'm not going to start a record label because I do not have the time to run like this thing as a franchise in a community and also do a record label. But I might try and put like a playlist together of something. It's just like really good music, and literally just run that playlist and like promote that playlist, and it just has all sorts of like albums that are verified, made by real people, and then it's just a bunch of different artists. Like, I would just put, like, do something like that. Yo, what up, villain? Yeah, like a curation thing. I don't think I would make a channel for it. I think I would just make a playlist on the Dusk channel, if it's possible. But again, who knows? No, not a label, because if I ran a label, I'd want to be profiting off of said label. And I'd be mastering people's stuff and running it kind of like how Mousetrap does, like how Deadmau5 runs Mousetrap. And I'm not doing that. This is PSO. This is too loud, this side for this one here. If AI music used ultrasonic sounds embedded in their music, could watermark their stuff and people could actually easily find out if it was AI. I don't think YouTube even cares about AI. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even think they see it as a bad thing. I don't think they care about it. Unless people leave YouTube because of it, I don't think they care. I think all they care about is ad revenue and engagement with their platform. But I've seen a lot of like the community, like we have our core community here, and I'll always keep it here because this is just where it started and this is our home base. But like, I've personally seen through my analytics, a lot of people jump ship on YouTube and like listen to Dusk on Spotify or Tidal or their preferred. Not that there isn't AI music there, but yeah, like I've seen the Dusk community shift off of YouTube a little bit. I mean, not really, because even though the mixes don't get as much exposure, like the long form mixes, I would say like as a whole the channel is bigger than it's ever been. I mean, take this, it's 5 a.m. and we have 58 people watching the stream. Anyone who's been in here for a long time knows that was not always the case. Like, Audio has been in here for a bit. Knights has been in here for a bit. JVX has been in here for a bit. Pixie has been in here for a bit. Like, we used to get, like, at this hour, Audio, what do you think? It was probably like 12 concurrent viewers at 5 a.m.? Anyways, let me get a Diet Coke. The gas station stream. Yeah, Villain, you've been in here for a while too. I know it's like daytime for some people in here, but I just mean in general, like when it was my 5 a.m., it would be like 12 people in here. I think we would get like 30 people tops on a Saturday in the afternoon or something like that. And like single engagement, since I merged my channel with my topic channel, like we got like what, 24, 25k views on the new single. The shorts, you guys like go and watch those shorts. I mean, one of the shorts has like 11 or 12k views. So it's not that like YouTube is a bad platform now, because it's still, the community is more popping than ever. It's just the community behavior and probably the platform behavior and algorithm behavior has changed in the past, I would say 5, 6, maybe a year. And I think it's because of the AI bullshit. Yo, what up, Tune? The degen days. Yeah. That sounds about right, Darth. Yeah, Hazmat, we're growing together. Because this is a community. We run Dusk differently than, well, I say Team Dusk for a reason. I say Dusk Army for a reason, because I really don't like running my project as like, look at me, I'm a producer. Look at me, I'm a producer. I like to just be like a steward of like a community and like be the composer for a project that's bigger than just me as a musician. Like, yeah, I'm kind of the driving force behind it, but kind of more as like a steward. Like, I know you guys like my music, obviously. Like, the music is probably what made you click or just hang out. But I would be willing to bet the music isn't what is keeping you here on the live stream, or what keeps you on the Discord, or what keeps you coming back. It's like a whole vibe, and it's the community, and it's the project, and the visuals, and the lore. It's not like cult of personality. And I'm not trying to like rag on my peers, because I look up to a lot of amazing producers, and they do run it as producer first and promote themselves. They post pictures of themselves. They post themselves DJing, all that. That's a lane. But it's definitely not a lane that I would like to be in. I would like to just be more like a guild leader, and then like also I happen to be the composer. That's awesome, Boof. Well, that means a lot. I'm glad. We're always glad to have you here, man. Thanks, Celeste. I appreciate you. We probably would be really good friends IRL. One of the best underground music artists in recent history. Dang, Raincloud. Well, I don't know about that, but it's flattering to hear. All right, let's listen to this thing as a whole. Herping, thank you for your support, man. 16 months is a long time. Appreciate you. 16 months in the Dusk army. You've been in the trenches. Pixie, yeah, the lore of Dusk. Whoa. Yeah, there's a story. It's kind of a loose story. I try not to make it too heavy because I want people to interpret the characters. But the premise of it is just like Dusk is literally just like me composing for a video game that doesn't exist yet. And there are characters. Like Dusk is the main character. And then there are other characters. So like when I make mixes and stuff, and especially maybe on some of the newer mixes, it's gonna be more evident that like Dusk is the center of it, and Dusk is an actual person, like an actual like character represented by like animations and such. Yeah, I love this area in PSO. A game called Gaia. I don't think I'll ever be able to make Gaia Ray a game. Maybe. I'm gonna say this was like epic video game music, but didn't want it to sound like an insult. No, I love video game music. That's this whole thing is like composing for a game. I would definitely collab with a studio to make Dusk a game, but I would need lawyers to look over all the fine details and stuff, because Dusk is trademarked. And some of these studios be trying to steal the carpet right from under you, so like it would be... Indie studio would be safer. I would do it myself, but like I have friends in the game industry, and it's just such a soul stealing industry that I don't really care to be like director of a game project. It'd just be too much, you know? It would take too much away from like everything else. Honestly, I feel like this song, like... He's almost done. I just got into PSO because of the streams, and mech guns are so satisfying. Mech guns are great. And you can get some really good mech guns in PSO. Like, some really good mech guns. Like, because, you know, like, all the weapons in PSO have randomized stats, kind of like Diablo. So you can get some really good drops. Would you ever do a Kickstarter to make the game? Hell no. And I'll tell you why. It's because I've seen Kickstarter backers go absolutely insane if a game doesn't come out. Like, obviously I would put the game out, but putting it out would be stressful. And then, like, if it... The other thing I don't like about Kickstarter is it formalizes the whole game. And then, like, if the game sucks, like, you just get eaten alive. So, hell no. I think it would be a risk for the brand as a whole. I think the community would support, but we would be bringing in a whole other aspect of niche or whatever, like gamers. Not that we aren't gamers, but it would bring in more gamers, and I just don't know if I want to deal with that kind of stress. Yo, what up, Frog? I love your work and it inspires me to make video games. I started entering game jams about a year ago, and one hosted by a large content creator. My dream is to make a Dusk type game. Heck yeah. Well, appreciate you. Thanks for listening to music and thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for being here. I want to do something kind of interesting here where, like, I want to do, like, just, like, some kind of a... The music comes first, and, like... It's not just that the music comes first, but also... We're trying to make more merch, you know. I want to make sure that, like, I'm kind of creating different ways that we as a community can chill out together, which I find more important than any video game. Stuff that's cool, like stuff that you can collect, more music, obviously. Different collabs with different artists, like artwork. The trading card games or trading cards. I don't want to say game, but there is going to be a sort of a game. Just stuff like that. Like, basically everything that a game would have without actually making the game. And then, in time, maybe the game will fall together and we'll make something. But if I did work on a game, I would want it to be a very low-pressure, narrow scope thing. More like an artifact. Kind of like the BBS. Like, it just exists, right? Like, the game doesn't have to meet expectations. It's like, oh, what is this thing? This, like, you guys would know it because it'd be like, oh, Dusk put something on Steam. But other people might be like, what is this thing? And it's like, you know, it's like, I don't know, $2 on Steam, $3 on Steam. And then it has a disclaimer like, this is an experience, not a fleshed out video game, you know, buy at your own risk type deal. I know that doesn't sound great, but something like that, or like, this is an artifact, not a game. It's just like an experience, and then, you know, it's low stakes. Like, you know, the amount you pay about as much as like a coffee to play this thing, and then it's like people aren't going to get upset, or they shouldn't. I'm sure there are some entitled people out there, but like less likely to have people like, you never patch it. This game is broken. You know, we see these reviews on Steam all the time, like, this game is trash, you know? Like, heck that. Yeah, like Yeah, like a shareware demo, I suppose. Yeah, but I would still want to. If we put all that effort into making some kind of an experience, I would still want to make money off of it to some extent. Cause like, who's gonna pay like the person who codes it or like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It wouldn't be just shareware demo. It would be more than that. There would be an actual game to play. It would just be a very minimal game. Think like an idle game type deal. Maybe not more than an idle game, but yeah, something. That'd be a pretty cool idea, like a demo disc. Maybe I could just sell a physical game. Like on the Dusk shop. Instead of doing it on Steam. You just sell a CD and it's a game. Like you just put it. But who's got a CD drive at this point? Yo, what up, Pondering? Yeah, we vibing out. I kind of want to put this here. Yeah, I like that better. Just try and move this over a little bit. Yeah, this is Fantasy Star. What's up, Resize? Yeah, I like that more like that. Yeah, I love the scene. This is my favorite level in Fantasy Star. It's normal mode, don't worry. There's nothing that great there. I want to play Universe on stream soon. What's up? What's up, Demby? Listen to all your albums back to back when playing Star Sector. Heck yeah, man. Thanks for listening. Yeah, audio coming in clutch. Yeah, we have a channel. We play like I actually play this game. In fact, this character is like level 133. uh so 131, my bad. I have like a 174. So basically also guys, I mean, I'm going to play this track again cuz I need to lock in on this. Okay. So the Idle World broadcast is typically like less narration. This just kind of turned into more of a normal production stream type deal. Kind of like a hybrid thing. I like vocals. But, you know, one of the reasons why I'm in this normal chat is so that, or normal room, is so that people can join. So that we have like a chat going on in the game and here. Like the merging of worlds. It's supposed to be like so people can drop in and say hi virtually in PSO if you play and just hang out while the music is being produced so you can also look off into the sunset. Or if you're like, if a few people join, like last time, I think they went off and like actually played while I just idled. So it's supposed to be like available for everybody to come in and say hi. But you can absolutely join the game. It's open. But I'd probably be getting off in a little while, like at 6. Fruitiger life. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't think this track needs much more at all. Like I think this track for the mix that I'm making / album, this track kind of serves its purpose. Like it doesn't really need to be overly busy. That's kind of like the goal of this album. Like not every song is gonna be super complicated or even like, you know. And I think this is one of those tracks that should just kind of be like just a vibe. I don't think it needs any details, really. I don't think I want to overthink it. I think it just needs to exist. I plan on having, like, every song on this mix is going to be orchestral. Glad to have you here, Archism. Not orchestral, but OST-ish. No drums on this whole mix, really. But some of the songs are going to be like this, where it's like a little more going on. Like I played it earlier. 1 second, buddy. Have a good one, Snowy. Hope you have a great day at work. But yeah, this is going to be more melodic sounding tracks. But I want there to be tracks in there that just kind of breathe too, like the one I'm working on. You know? So it's almost like you're being dropped into an environment. You're on a title screen and then you're like dropped into an environment. And it's just like very atmospheric. I live in Brazil and wake up at 5 a.m. to study. I have ADHD, and DMB plus breakcore really calm me down. I'm glad it calms you down. So I study for hours with your mixtapes. Thanks for listening. Love your streams and chat energy. Appreciate you, Lucas. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's funny how easy these tracks are for you. You made these tracks with like one hand in a few hours and they come out. Oh, I'm glad you like them, Knights. Yeah, this stuff is just supposed to be... Sometimes I get in my own way because I've been producing for so long. I can get in my own way, so like sometimes it's nice to just like let it breathe. That's true. It's true, Concrete. Sometimes, Concrete, that's sometimes the way it is. Yeah, the Sanctuary OS process. Like, I was falling asleep half the time. Usually because I was getting out of work, but... Hold on. I think what I want to do for the ending, though, is extend the piano to about here. But then kind of like... like it stops at different points. Like that. And same with this one. Well, this one's not gonna ring out for as long. What's up? What's up, Cadman? How are you, man? Operator. So. Let me just put something in there. And then the bass has to be a little longer. I could probably just bring it down like an octave. Nah, it's too low in an octave. I notice each mixtape has the aesthetic of a console era, since Bracecore kind of faded after the PS2 era. Where do you see the series going next? Honestly, I think I'll always make sure that there are mixes that kind of... What's up, L3? That kind of like signal back to the PS2 Dreamcast era. I don't think I'll ever abandon that. I think it'll be a reoccurring theme. But I also think that some of the mixes are going to lean into like more cyberpunk vibes, or like, you know, like a higher graphical output. So it's just like some cool video game world. Doesn't necessarily always have to be like that era. Like, you know, like a Final Fantasy type thing. Or sometimes it's just going to have real people. Like, I'm just going to have real people playing the parts of the characters in like the visuals to give it like a human element. Everything fades here. And we'll probably just cut it and then it can fade back. It'll just loop in again. Yeah, like Mecha Angels type stuff. Yeah. Or just some of it is just gonna be like honestly, my aspirations for it is, like I said, always like the Y2K vibe thrown in there, but then sometimes a higher end aesthetic, cyberpunky, newer age kind of graphics. And then sometimes like my literal goal is like there's a single and there's someone playing Dusk and it's just like presented as like a K-pop artist, like a female K-pop artist, and you're just like, wait, and then it's confusing people because it's like, who is it? The person on the screen that made the music, or like, is it the? That's kind of like the vibe I want to go for. Because I love K-pop. I think I've heard of Boy 2000, but I haven't looked too much. I'll have to check it out. I'll check it out stuff. Alright, sick. Yeah, also, I was talking about this on Discord yesterday, because someone was like, when Fruto Guerrero goes out of style, like, what happens? Like, what, are you still gonna do it? Are you still gonna have those vibes? And yes, because of the way I view the project, since I'm making it, like, I'm a composer and then like almost like sometimes like the producer, but producing for like an idol that doesn't exist or something. Well, they will exist once we bring them into existence in like a video where it's like, you know, like I just said, like a K-pop type vibe. But when I think about what I'm putting out next, it's never like, well, this did really well, so I'm gonna put it out again type vibe. It's like, what does the Dusk ecosystem need to balance it out so it's more than just like a producer putting out the same thing over and over and over again? It's like, that's why I did Manual Drive, because I was like, you know, there needs to be a part of this world that's a little more gritty and like housey and dancey, so let's put that out. And, you know, also with like, even with like Sanctuary OS, like I put out 3 hard-hitting D&B kind of like
very video gamey things, and I said, well, let's do something and turn the drums way down and do something atmospheric. And then it was like, well, we should probably do something completely like manual drive. And then Lost Sanctuary is kind of more OST ish. It's kind of like a mix of all. And Tape Sessions, I wanted to do something more organic y, earthy. And then, well, like now I'm doing one without drums because I feel like it might not do as well as like the other stuff. But it doesn't really matter because like I feel like Dusk needs that world, that mood there for everybody in the community to explore. Yeah, don't overthink it, but see, I think that's a really like it's a good point. Like you don't want to overthink stuff, but at the same time, I think it's good to be aware of a project. Some people will say like, well, as soon as you're self-aware of a project, it loses its weight. But I disagree with that. I think there's a balance. Yeah, different Dusk area themes. That's kind of the vibe. Just worlds that you can visit and they don't all sound the same. I think there's a time to let it all out and not overthink it. But I think to just do that, easier said than done. Choose the safest fallback if reality violates the preferred data shape. Yeah, it's like composing for a game. That's all. But the Dusk universe is like a game, and games don't always have the same exact thing every time. Think of all the different styles of music in the Final Fantasy universe, you know? Think about how that evolved and how sometimes they go back to it and stuff like that. I think if you want to be a true artist, don't overthink it and just do what you feel. Absolutely. Because the essence of art is expression, right? If you want to be a real, true artist, but if you want to be a composer and a producer and an artist, and you want to captivate an audience for a long period of time, you have to think about it. Obviously, you don't want to overthink. Overthinking is not the same as thinking about it, but you have to be aware of what's going on. You have to be aware of like what your listeners like, how far you can push it, but also you don't want to alienate them, you know? Like, so it's a balancing act. And there's more to it than just not overthinking it, in my opinion. Because I've seen a lot of artists come and go, some because they just wanted to go. Sometimes people just are not having fun anymore and they don't like it. And at that point, it's like, just, you know, do something else. But, and I'm sure y'all have seen this too, but I've seen a lot of artists do really well with an album or a style. And sometimes maybe they gain a lot of visibility early on, so their identity isn't fully formed. So when the genre shift happens, they panic when people aren't feeling the music as much, and they just like straight up panic, and they don't realize that it's ebb and flow and visibility won't always be on you. It's like always kind of a guarantee that there will be lulls in your visibility, and they panic and they just like freak out and either quit or they just write some wild shit, and then like it just alienates the audience, stuff like that. This happens all the time. And then the other aspect of it is like people feel trapped in a genre and they completely just do something just out of feeling, but it like, and it's true to them, but it completely alienates the audience. And people don't outright say like, this just doesn't hit. People will just quietly leave because they're alienated. It's usually a quiet withdrawal from the listeners. And like, these are all aspects that you kind of have to be aware of, I think. So like, but the greatest truth, I think, like as a producer and a musician is like, not only will visibility not always be on you, it's guaranteed to not always be on you. Like it's ebb and flow. Like visibility and relevance is always like an ebb and flow. It's never going to be at peak. It's never going to be at its lowest. But if you can work through the periods of like the lull and you can like evolve and like be aware of culture, pop culture, whatever, like there's always another invention. I don't know. It's just, there's always a reinvention. There's always like going to be another period if you stick to it and you experiment within reason. I don't know. It's a balance, man. Yeah, I've used in God's Garden. I used like a Vocaloid type thing, and I kind of want to again. Yeah, the Phantasy Star Online soundtrack is definitely my favorite. And behind that, probably a number of Final Fantasy soundtracks. I really love the Chrono Cross soundtrack. That might actually be my second favorite soundtrack of all time. I really like the Nier soundtrack too. Nah, this game is pretty easy to set up. Yo, what up, Vanishing? Hope you're doing well too, man. Yeah, Besaid is awesome. The typo billboard. Guys, I gotta go to sleep. It's getting late. And I gotta be up today. There's stuff we're gonna be having activities, we're gonna be going out, so I definitely gotta go. This song is basically done, but I'm gonna do some mastering and some mixing for sure, just to like really tighten it up, and then it'll be done, and then we're gonna work on the next one, and then we'll work on the next one and the next one and the next one, and we'll get this thing out there, and we'll have a nice collection of tunes, and then I'll figure out the visuals and all that. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out, and hope to see you next time. Yeah, because we just be chilling, man. So until then, good vibes. All right, later.